Hello everyone, welcome at Monza, the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, for the third round of the Talent Factory League Championship. Today the qualifying in real life happened and we all are here to watch qualifying for this league. And I don't expect the chaos we saw on TV at some points during the qualifying, but slipstream will be important today. So expect lots of toes from teammates and other cars trying to benefit from other teams with slipstream. As everyone is still in their pit box and none of them have decided to go out for now. At the win in Bahrain and the third place at Baku, TFL Davy still leads the championship, and it's closely fought behind because Yagizan is just a few points back. First cars have decided to go onto the track, and talking about Yagizan, it is Yagizan who has decided to go first in the AlphaTauri, man second in the championship. Behind him is the Ferrari, as we've seen lots of times before, going early. And what can this man do? Can he take the lead of the championship today here at Monza? Or will Davy keep his lead, or will someone else take the lead here today? TFL Charles in the Ferrari in his outlap, still pretty close behind Yagizan. And we'll see going into the hot lap if that remains the same. Charles just creating a little bit of a gap, but not too massively of a gap. So he'll try to benefit from the slipstream from the AlphaTauri. So already people trying to gain from other cars' slipstreams. And from this point of view, from the Ferrari, we'll get a pretty good view of both laps, as we saw Charles locking up going into the first chicane, going to the Curva Grande. It's the AlphaTauri that has a better run this lap, so let's go on board with Yagizan. Oh, he's decided to stop his lap to abort his hot lap. Let's just put on some telemetry and lap data. So Charles will actually be the first car to set a lap time, and it is because Yagizan has invalidated his previous attempt. So Yagizan invalidated, as Charles nearly goes off at the exit of a Sky. So this is another good lap from him. Let's go on board with Yori. Has invalidated his lap 2. And the car behind is Jerry van Bussel in the Alfa Romeo, as Charles sets a 20.5. Ferrari remains the fastest driver because of invalidated lap times, but I'm sure Jerry will beat it easily. Jerry crosses the line and goes provisional P1 with a 118.9. Behind him is the teammate of Charles, Jensen, in the Ferrari, and he won't beat Jerry, but he will go P2. It slots in front of his teammate. Next car is Ferrens. Ferrens goes a 118.6. And the Alpine of Meneer van den Bergen is now beginning his hot lap. Terrence, new driver, Ferenc, new driver here in the league. Very promising, so I'm very curious what he can do today. As there's a Haas that crosses the line now. It's Steph and it is a 1:58.0, so not a good attempt at a hot lap at all. As Meneer van den Bergen makes a mistake at the second chicane. As Jagizan goes provisional P1 in the AlphaTauri, 1:18.5, beats Ferris's lap time by 4/100ths of a second. As the Red Bull of Yardi goes 1:19.4, and that's P4. As Jerry van Bussel goes into the pit lane. Florian Jensen going into the pit lane too. Let's go on board with Hones. Oh, Hones, just at the moment we switch to him, makes a spin coming out of Lesmo 1. Makes a nice turn and gets back on track. Just stays on the side of the road to not hinder any of the other cars and continues on his way. It's the Haas of Lewis Hamilton that has invalidated his lap time, so won't put in a lap now. And it's Yüksel going out for his hot lap now. As the McLarens cross in formation, TFL Davy P4 immediately beaten by Damiano P4, so McLaren 4 and 5 for now, which they have already also done in real life. P4 for Lando Norris and P5 for Daniel Ricciardo. As TFL Sven beats P4 of Damiano and goes 1:19.0. And I expect this man to get out of Q1 easily, but he needs to put lap together. Yüksel in the Aston Martin goes towards Ascari now. Fear of many drivers in qualifying. Easy to get an invalidation, and if you want to gain a lot of time while team games are being played, you see it. Julian giving the slipstream to Yüksel for a better lap time. But if you want to gain as much time as Ascari, you need to risk it. And that is extremely risky. Yüksel goes P6, 1:19.2. As the McLarens both head into the pit lane. And Ferens gets into the pit lane as well in his Williams. As Sven pit lane as well, and it's the Ferrari of Jensen on his second outlap, both shooting entry into Ascari a bit, but it doesn't matter for his outlap. Through the Parabolica, which has been renamed. I can't remember the name for now, but I know it has been renamed to a driver. The older driver. The Parabolica officially not being called the Parabolica anymore. But maybe you saw on TV today, no matter which broadcast you watched, a lot of people still calling it the Parabolica, and so will I. Jensen invalidating his lap time, so we won't be on board for long now with him. Black box, maybe a disappointing result out in Baku. Expected a lot more from himself, and I'm sure he'll bounce back today here at Monza. So hopefully for him, he can get back into the championship fight. And it's still early days, so the championship is wide open. But every point is important, and bad results don't exactly help your championship chances. Yellow sector 2. You see Alfa Romeo cutting the second chicane. Let's get to the broadcasting mode. So we'll go for a lap with black box onto the start-finish straight, crossing the line now, instantly opening the DRS and just letting the engine do its work. Then going to the Retofilio first chicane, just getting over the orange curb, not hitting it, but just riding over it. And once again, if you look inside the cockpit, Black Box doesn't have a helmet. Maybe a glitch from the game. Okay, getting to the Della Roggia chicane. Nicely taking both curbs. And onto the first Lesmo. And then the second Lesmo. And there is the Ferrari of Jensen, who has crashed here at Monza. And they're almost crashing as well as Black Box, who has invalidated his lap time. That might have been to do with the Ferrari of Jensen being in the way and just being a distraction for the Mercedes driver. But it looked like a tight lap up till that point. Black Box obviously having to make another attempt at it. I think he'll do that this lap. Don't think he'll go into the pit. So let's see what he can do. Once again, yes, he will try another lap. 22.8 invalid, so that obviously won't count. And Alpine of Nevenbergen crossing the line as well to start his hard lap. Just a little bit of the rear end of the Mercedes breaking away, but correcting it instantly by Black Box. Through the Curva Grande he goes. And to the second chicane. Can he take it as well as he did previously? It didn't look like the best attempt, but it's a 118.54 Ferens who takes provisional P1 back from Yagizan. Onto the back straight, DRS open, and onto Ascari with the Mercedes driver. It's a 52.5 after the second sector. I don't think... Oh, it's a Haas of Steph spinning. And this time it didn't cause a distraction for Black Box. Through the Parabolica we go, hitting the curb and on the inside. Don't know if that was the best attempt for him. But it will be a 119.2 P10 for Black Box. I think it will be enough. But I know he won't be too pleased with the lap. So the Alpine of Nevenbergen once again going for a hot lap after invalidating his previous attempt. Braking for turn 1, going over the orange curb once again, as we've seen with the Mercedes of Black Box. And is now full on the power. Towards the second chicane, the Della Roggia chicane. And Nevenbergen making a mistake, spinning it at the exit of the chicane. And not finishing this lap. William McLaren driver of Damiano going into the pit lane, and behind is the Haas on a hot lap. I think he is on a hot lap, so let's go on board with Lewis Hamilton 8. Yes, he's starting his lap now. You see the drivers all going over the curb, going around the curb is losing you a lot of time. So just going over the orange curb at the first chicane is the best way to take it. Just losing the end of the car, the rear end of the car, going out of the chicane as well. This is a yellow flag. What happened? It's a yellow flag for Steph. He has spun. He didn't spin. Maybe brake too late going into turn 1. And you know, when a car brakes too late going into turn 1 in real life, they have to go around the brake marker boards, around the boards at the first chicane. Attempting that in real life, we saw with Steph, it isn't actually possible to go through the boards and not hitting any of them, no matter what you try. So Steph just attempting to go through the boards, but that obviously didn't happen without destroying a few of them on the way. Alpine of Hoon starting his lap. Mercedes driver of a black box starting his lap too. Oh, he doesn't have enough fuel anymore, so he'll head into the pit lane. And in the danger zone at the moment, both Ferraris, so Charles on his out lap now, will want to change that. And Steph in the Haas, who made a few mistakes, as we saw. So hopefully for him, he'll be able to improve. Jensen not getting out of the bottom 3. Because he crashed going out of Lesmo 1. Yellow sector 3, just because the Haas going a bit slowly going out of Ascari. Red Bull as well, just creating a gap to start the hot lap. As Steph is on a hot lap, we'll go on board with him. You'll just have to set a lap time that's good enough for Q2. And he's currently 1.5 times up on his previous attempt, but this final sector will be a game changer for his lap time. Last lap he invalidated his run, so he'll win a lot of time on this attempt. Steph crossing the line now from P17 goes to P9. That means the Alpine of Meneer van den Bergen is now in the danger zone. And he is safe, and he'll probably be very happy about that. If we look at the times, as we'll go on board with the Aston Martin of Yuxel, because he is not on hard lap, so let's not go on board with Yuxel. Let's go on board with Sven going into his hard lap now. As we look at the times, as the times have stopped, the clock says the session has stopped, but obviously Sven is still going for his hot lap, so we'll just have to go with it. As we look at the times, pretty close at the top, between P1 and P2, half a tenth, and from P3 to P8 of black box, 2 tenths, so 2.5 tenths from. No, that's not true. But at least it's very close at the top, the first 2 positions, and from P3 to P8. This one attempts to just get along with those times. So it's 19.8. I think the session has stopped now because there are checkered flags behind the names at the left hand side. Sven going out of Ascari towards the Parabolica. And as it seems now, Haas still on track of Lewis Hamilton 8. And the Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton 8 has spun at the exit of the Ascari chicane. Sven going 118.6, goes P3. Just behind Jagizan in the AlphaTauri. Charles still trying to improve. P14 for now. Where can he go? Oh, Charles spinning it! And that's not an improvement from him. Well, but I think we'll see him back in Q2. The 3 final positions. So this means Jensen, Meneer van den Bergen and Steph out here in Q1 at Monza. And just waiting for Charles to finish his lap time with his broken front wing. And he goes into the pit lane. Ferrans, fastest here in Q1. with a 118.539. And Sven also in the mix after going P3 on his final run here in Q1. So the Williams driver, new driver here in TFL, fastest. And then Yagizan, second in the championship, second in Q1, 65 thousandths behind Sven, 1/10 behind Ference, and then it's Damiano, Julian, Lewis Hamilton 8, Fruitful, Jerry van Bussel, Black Box, and Davy Yar top 10. And we'll go now to Q2. This circuit is home to the record for the fastest average speed in Formula 1 on a single lap. Juan Pablo Montoya held the unofficial record for a very long time until in 2018. Kimi Räikkönen with his pole position beat it with a 119.911, and that record was beaten not in 2019 when Charles Leclerc went on to get pole position, but it was beaten in 2020 by Lewis Hamilton in probably the fastest Formula 1 car to date and for a long time to come, with the regulation changes of this year and the years for 2022 onwards. The cars in the game, as Jordi, I think, has an error, has left the session, so I hope he'll rejoin. As the cars in the game handle differently than the cars in real life, not reflecting the lap times that they do in real life, going a little bit faster in the game. I'm curious if we'll even see the lap time of Lewis Hamilton beaten today. Let's just look up what that time was. As the Williams of Ference will be the first to cross the line to go for his Q2 time with the soft tire, mind you, so that means he'll definitely start, if he gets a good enough lap time in, on the soft tire in the race. .9 after the first sector, going through the De La Rocha chicane. That lap time from Ference. Looks like a good lap time up till now in the Williams. Going towards Ascari. It's a 52.1. Not an invalidation, and takes Ascari with a lot of courage. Really tight. Going through Parabolica. This will be a faster lap time, I think, than the lap time he set in Q1. Staying as close to the right as possible. It's a 118.592. Just not beating the fastest lap time of Q1. And speaking about fast lap times, we've already beaten the record set by Lewis Hamilton. It's a 118.887. As Ference gets out of the way, let's look on board. If he can avoid all the boards here. Yeah, okay, that's the way to take it. He avoids all the boards. but has to take the escape route in a rather unconventional way. But he avoids it. Okay, as Jerry Muscle went P2 120.3, probably making a mistake along the way, as Damiano in his McLaren is out in his hot lap. Mercedes of Black Box going into his hot lap now. And a Red Bull, look, it's a Red Bull of Yardi starting his hot lap in a few seconds. Lesmo 2 going into a 4 short shift to 5. DRS open towards Ascari. Go under the banked circuit here. Just loving this view here on board with the McLaren driver. And as you see, teammates just giving each other a tow by being near each other here in the qualifying. So Davy profiting from Damiano. Damiano is P4 as Yagizan went P2. Where can he go? He'll go P1 and 18.552. Davy, his teammate, an 18.862. So Damiano fastest here in Q1. Red Bull of Yardi behind. No, it's Fruitful. Fruitful setting at 25.2 on the medium tire. So probably made a mistake somewhere. Julian and Juxo, both Aston Martins, going into the pit lane. Black Box finishing his hot lap now. It will be an 19.0. So not into the 18s for Black Box yet. Behind, you see it in the map. Just Altari and the Alfa Romeo getting out of the way. Oh, as Jerry actually spun. So it's his teammate Sven that is going into his hot lap. The Haas of Lewis Hamilton 8 behind, going into his hot lap too. Reaching 212 miles per hour. You can convert it to kilometers per hour. But we don't have that setting enabled at the moment. Where does he brake? He brakes towards the 90 meters, it looked like. Going towards Lesmo 1. Turning in after the 50 meter board. And Sven here turning in at the 50 meter board. DRS open. And in real life, the Alfa Romeo using a different livery because they drive in Italy. It's the green in the car, just finishing it off pretty well, I think, in real life. Didn't look like the best run through Ascari, but we'll see what Sven can do. As the time keeps ticking, it will be 1:18.6 for Sven, once again setting an 18.6 as he did last time out in Q1. Lewis Hamilton 8 goes to 21.7, and the Red Bull of Yardi going into an odd lap now, once again, I think. There's an Alpine that spun. It's Hones in the Alpine, spun coming out of Ascari, and we said it. You need to take risks going into Ascari to set a pretty competitive lap time. And Hones obviously taking too much of a risk. You see Aston Martin of Juxol gets past. And Hones spinning at the exit. So let's go on board with Juxol. Maybe he'll finish this run. Braking nicely for the corner. As there's yellow sector 2 and 3. It's Lewis Hamilton 8. Lewis Hamilton 8 crashing at the exit of Lesmo 2. So he's out. So he's the first 4 drivers to be out in this qualifying session. If the drivers in P11 to P14 can set a lap time. And there's still yellow sector 2 and 3. Probably because his teammate Julian went pretty slow. And once again we see Aston Martin guys, if I'm not mistaken, giving each other a tow. In the form of Julian giving a tow to Juxel. And you see it perfectly timed. Julian getting out of the way. Going towards Parabolica. Helping Juxel massively here. And of course, because Juxel is now finishing his lap, he can give the tow on the main straight to Julian. Juxel goes P5 and will go on board with Julian. As Juxel did give a tow to Julian, but not as an effective one, as we saw Julian giving to Juxel. Julian not having the best of luck in the championship yet. DNF in Bahrain. P3 in Baku, at a circuit which he thought would not be his most competitive circuit, so just damage limitation there, I suppose. But I think he'll want to go on with it here at Monza and to want to get a good result. As Jerry van Bussel goes P6 19.0. Julian has invalidated his run, almost crashing at the exit of Ascari. We've seen a lot of cars making a mistake at the Ascari chicane. But will the Aston Martin driver go once again? As Jagizan sets a 118.4 and goes faster than Damiano and Ferenc. And it's the first .4 we have seen up to this point. Home starting his outlet now. And Ferrari of Charles going P9. And I don't think that's the time that puts you safe to go through to Q3. The Alpine, absolutely my favorite car of the field. Stunning blue livery. Hones getting its first podium of the season at the season opener in Bahrain with a P3, overtaking Jarno on track. And he'll want to continue the track record and get another podium here at Monza, as Damiano and Ferenc have both retired from the session, believing they are safe at homes. Once again, not going tight through Ascari, as TFL Davy retires from the session too. There's yellow sector 3. So I hope for Holmes that this lap will put him safe. It's a P11, so it won't put him safe. Jagzan going into the pit lane, and the Ferrari of Charles going into the pit lane too, with insufficient fuel to go full speed. Yardi here, P10 19.3. Can he improve, and by how much? His black box in the Mercedes is in his outlap, and the teammate of Yardi. So Ivar Fruitful in the Red Bull. He's 3.5 seconds faster than his previous attempt, illustrating that he made a mistake on his last run. So where can he go? It's an 119.4. It's P11 from the pole sitter from Baku. Admitted it was a lap he didn't expect to set. As we head back to Yardi, he didn't expect to set a lap that was good enough for pole position, but he did it anyway with an amazing lap. As Yardi goes off the power, and knows this lap won't be good enough for the improvement. As this time Julian does get a better tow from Juxel. Julian not having a lap time up till now. So he just needs to put in a lap time that is at the moment faster than a 1:19.3 to go into Q3. But I'm sure, as Holmes is out as well as Lewis Hamilton is too, Fruitful can improve, as seen by his lap in Baku. Julian takes the line pretty well through the De La Rocha chicane. So I think Fruitful can improve, and he does improve. P6 at 18.7, that surely will put him safe. But what about Charles in the Ferrari? He has retired. But Julian, if he doesn't make a mistake on this lap, and it doesn't look like he will make a mistake, will surely knock the Ferrari out of qualifying. On board with Julian. Through the Parabolica, the number 37 Aston Martin, heading towards the finish line. Will this lap be good enough for Q3? It will be, and it will be fastest of qualifying. 1:18.0, 4:10 faster than the AlphaTauri of Jagizan. So really good lap time from Julian, puts him from P14 to P1, knocking the Ferrari of Charles out of qualifying. And this the Red Bull of Yardi improving. He isn't. So that means Charles, Yardi, Holmes and Lewis Hamilton are the 4 drivers that are knocked out of qualifying here at the end of Q2. Julian fastest for Aston Martin. 1:18.089. So will we see a 1.17 for the pole position time in Q3? Jagizan P2 once again, as Black Box in the Mercedes is P3. And then it's behind Damiano P4, P5 for Ferrens, P6 Sven, 7 Fruitful, and P8 for Davy. And continuing on, it's Juxel in P9 and P10 for Jerry van Bussel. Really didn't expect that lap time in Q2, but an amazing lap from the Aston Martin driver puts him fastest here. With Jerry van Bussel in P10, almost a second down. So I can't wait for Q3 and to see what happens for the battle for pole position. We've seen 2 unexpected pole positions, 2 really good laps at the end of Q3. Will this be more of the same? Will we see a pole sitter coming out of nothing, taking the front spot on the grid? And for now, everyone still in the pit lane. And we wait to see who will be the first car heading out. As we saw in real life, I said it earlier, not as much chaos with the slipstream as we saw in the real life qualifying session. As Ferrens in the Williams is the first driver out. So in the chat, please say who do you think is going to be the pole sitter here for the 3rd round at Monza. So in the chat, just tell me who do you think will take pole position. Everyone in Q2 setting their lap time on the soft tire. So that means everyone inside the top 10 starting on the red wall tire. And of course P11 through P17 having free choice of tire for the race. French is slowly taking his outlap. But a 1:18.0, will that be beaten? Will we see a 1.17 for the pole position? Ference will make his first attempt, but he doesn't have the slipstream. The advantage of the slipstream that Julian had previous lap is not there for Ference, so he'll have to do it on his own. Taking the first chicane, going over that orange curb, nodding in the left hand curb of turn 2, and going through Curva Grande on towards the De La Rocha chicane. Once again having the left time and telemetry disabled, so let's put it on. Into 4th gear, short shifting up till 5th gear. Once again the same, going out of Les Mills 2. DRS wide open. It's a 1:15.9 after the second sector. So I think this will be a pretty good lap time from TFL Ference. Braking at the DRS marker, DRS detection zone. Staying as close to the right side as possible. It's a 1:18.2. It's not the 18.0 we saw in Q2, but it is a good lap time. TFL Swen slotting in behind with the 18.8 and Jerry van Bussel 19.3. McLaren and Damiano behind them, setting an 18.9. The Red Bull of Fruitful going P2 with the 18.6. Yagizan 19.0 P5. Davy crossing the line now to start his hot lap. But the odd one out for me is Yagizan here in the AlphaTauri. I think he can go a little bit faster. Joey saying, I think Trosmike will take the pole. I don't think I will take pole position here today, unfortunately. But my bet, after seeing what Julian can do and how the Aston Martin guys work as a team, I think Julian has a pretty good shot at pole position. Is Davey still on hot lap? No, he's not in hot lap. His red lights behind is blinking, so that means he isn't applying any ERS. Meaning he isn't going for a hot lap. Jerry van Bussel, Swen going into the pit lane. As is Ference in the Williams. And what will Yagizan in the AlphaTauri do? He invalidated his lap and heads into the pit lane as well. TFL Davey, meanwhile, the one on track who hasn't set a lap time yet, so he will... It wouldn't be a competitive lap time, so he'll start his hot lap once again. So I think he made a mistake somewhere in that lap that made him do the lap over again. Let's go on board. And immediately invalidating the run at the first corner. So this run won't count as well, as both Aston Martin's cars once again exiting the pit lane after one another. So it's Yüksel in front of Julian. Julian has proven to be the faster driver, I think, in this qualifying session. So maybe Yüksel giving it all to give Julian the slipstream and put his teammate on pole position, but we'll see what will happen. Now overtaking on track, and the McLaren of TFL Davey in front, going into the pit lane. because I don't think he has enough fuel to go for another lap. And looking at the fuel icon in the bottom right corner, he doesn't have enough fuel for a third run. Juxel goes past the McLaren, Julian behind the McLaren, so that means there is too much space between the cars for them to benefit from slipstream. Julian to benefit from the slipstream of Juxel. As we see an Alfa Romeo going out of the pit lane at the same moment as Julian went past the pit lane exit. And Jagzan and Jerry van Bussel on their second out lap. 26.0 after the first sector, not making a mistake at the second chicane, but not taking as fast as is possible. Fourth gear, short shift to fifth gear, once again opening the DRS and giving it all on the straight towards Ascari. Will he make it without a mistake? He will. So what will his lap time be? Will it be good enough for P1? The man who set the fastest time in Q2. What can he set in Q3? Juxel meanwhile P8, going P6 with a 19.1. Julian going P2 with 18.5. So 5/10 slower than what he can do with the slipstream. Probably not the best lap from him as well. Jerry van Bussel starting his hot lap, and the driver who was already on his hot lap was Jagizan, but he'll head into the pits, I think, because he invalidated his run to put on some new set of tires. Jerry van Bussel making a mistake, it looked like. Just backing off and not continuing his hot lap. Let's go on board with the Red Bull. Not been on board with the Red Bull at all, I think, this session. So the two Aston Martins in front. Will they go for another hot lap? Fruitful once again not in a bad position here in P3. I think he'll be pleased with that result. But can he go any faster? He invalidated his run in his out lap, but will it mean? Yes, it will mean his next lap is invalidated as well. So this lap won't be the lap that counts for the Red Bull driver. So he'll just have to go to the finish line once again to set a final lap time. So the Mercedes of black box is the next car in his out lap, trying to go for a lap time. He doesn't have a lap time at the moment, and if he completes any sort of hot lap, he'll go P9 in front of Davy, as Juxel has retired in the pit lane. Not enough time for a final run as we head towards the 1 minute mark. Oh, Blackbox making a mistake, and only if he puts on the power and heads to the finish line as fast as possible can he make another attempt at a hot lap. Jerry van Bussel backing off, and Sven going into his hot lap. What will the Red Bull behind do? Yes, he'll go for another lap right after his invalidated lap. But the question is, will Black Box be able to set one final hot lap? Because P10 is probably the worst position, one of the worst positions on the grid to start, because you don't have the fresh soft tires And behind him, all other cars have a free choice of tires. So you need to start on the soft tire and on worn soft tires. Damiano, meanwhile, going P2 with a 18.333 as the qualifying session has stopped. So cars going over the finish line now won't be able to set another time, as Black Box has made the line and is able to set a final lap here in qualifying, as Fruitful goes off at Ascari, and that is qualifying over for the Red Bull driver. So at best it will be P4. Julian won't improve, is P3. So Ferrens looking good here for provisional pole. The Aston Martin driver, Alfa Romeo driver, Swen, P5, isn't able to improve his position. And is that Ferrens off as well? Ferrens off as well at the Parabolica. What is happening here at the closing stages of Q3? Two drivers spinning out. Jagizan, what can he do? He's 2 tenths, almost 3 tenths up. Where will he go? He'll go P3. Beats Julian, goes into the top 3. And the McLaren driver of Damiano isn't setting a lap time. Davey isn't setting a lap time as well. So the final man who can beat TFL Ferrens to pole position is Black Box. Will Black Box be able to beat pole position time? He won't. It's P4 for IFR Black Box, 118.4. So that means Ferrens on his debut here in the Talent Victory League is P1 pole position for the Williams driver, with Damiano next to him on the front row. Yagizan, P2 in the championship, is P3 on the grid today, with Black Box in P4 in the Mercedes. Julian, P5, Fruitful P6, Davey, our championship leader, in P7 with a 118.793. And we'll see the rest of the results shortly. But what a lap time from Ferrens. We saw it could go faster in Q2. But still, without the toe, a 118.2 is a pretty good lap time. Damiano not far behind. Behind Swen is Juxel and Aston Martin, 19.110. And then Jerry van Bussel, 119.349. Slowest of the cars in Q3. So we'll wait and go to the race here at Monza. Cars lining up on the grid. Still looking at the pit boxes here. So still waiting for the players to line up on the grid. They are choosing their final setups now. So everything allowed within the park friendly regulations that is able to be changed can be changed now. They will choose their strategy. Obviously the cars inside the top 10 will start on the soft tires, as their lap times in Q2 were set on the soft tires. We will start in 1 second and we'll start now. So firstly it will be a formation lap led by the Williams of TFL Ferrens. First race, first pole position. Maybe this is the first pole position that didn't come as a surprise as much as the previous 2 pole positions did, because TFL Ferrens has shown throughout this qualifying session that he has the speed to set a pretty fast lap time. Top 6, all different constructors. McLaren, the first of the constructors to have 2 drivers within the top 8. And Haas and Alpine not looking as strong as they maybe should have been. So So Ferrand's warming up his tires in the Williams. Oh, just going off track. Just trying to warm up his tires a little bit too much. Meaning he went off track as TFL Jensen and Lewis Hamilton 8 both get disqualified from the session. I think because they made contact on the formation lap. I don't know how that should be possible, because Jensen is P17 and Lewis Hamilton 8 is P14. As the cars are getting closer once again to the finish line and are waiting to line up to start the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. We've had TFL Davy win the first race in Bahrain. We've had IFR Jagazan winning the second race in Baku. Will we have a new race winner at the end of these 27 laps? Or will Jagazan once again try to win this race? You see the strategy down under. But the lights are out. Car's not going yet. There they are. The cars are off the places. And it's the McLaren driver of Damiano who immediately takes the lead away from Ferrans in the Williams. Jagizan around the outside of the Williams driver as well. Which means Ferrans losing 2 places here at the start. Black Box is looking behind to take the position as well with Julian, as there's a lot of space between the next group of cars already. 2.1 second. What has happened behind? Fruitful losing a lot of positions in the Red Bull. But Julian on the gearbox of Black Box, I don't think that's even 1/10 of a second. He's trying to break out of the slipstream to get past the Mercedes driver, but he isn't able to do that yet. And behind, the cars seem to have found their position as there's a Red Bull of Fruitful going wide at the exit of the Ascari chicane. Swen getting past the Red Bull of Jordi. And Davy has lost a lot of position, it seems. Doesn't have damage, because otherwise he would have gone into the pit lane. Will go 3 wide maybe here towards the first chicane, as we'll go to the battle for P2. Jagizan and Ferrans. Ferrans in front of Jagizan. Overtaking. Oh, Black Box as well. Black Box getting past Jagazan as well. Will Black Box make it 2 overtakes in the span of 2 corners? He'll go around the outside of the chicane. Oh, it's Ferrans! Ferrans is off! And Julian is off as well! 2 drivers getting out, going off at the second chicane. Will it be a safety car? It is yellow. But is it a safety car? No, not yet. Black Box into P3, Jagizan into P2. Damiano staying out of trouble and heading the field here at Monza. So a lot of carnage for 2 of the front runners here in this race. So Ferrans and Julian both off. Lewis Hamilton. Oh, Lewis Hamilton has spun as well in the Haas. Oh, also using our safety track. As did Ferrans, I think. Damiano 121.3. Let's look at the tires everyone is using. So no hard tires. Oh yes, the Haas having front wing damage, as does Julian, because they are so slow here. As Steph has made a pretty good start in the Haas, just staying out of trouble, as did Charles in the Ferrari. Let's look at the position changes. Steph making up 7 positions, coming from P15 on the medium tire behind Charles. So I don't think he's in a bad position at all in this race. Almost losing it. but it hasn't been a good start for Julian, Lewis Hamilton, and Ferrens. Ferrens is in P10 and is trying to overtake Davy and is getting past Davy in the Williams. Ferrens up to P9. Fruitful didn't have the best of starts as well, but maybe that just has saved him from all the carnage happening in front. So he's still P6. Jerry van Bussel meanwhile sets the fast lap, instantly beaten by Fruitful and then instantly beaten by Ferrens as Black Box overtakes Yagi-san for P2 on the main straight. So the Mercedes driver into P2, chasing Damiano in the McLaren now. Charles and Steph are pretty close as well. Steph getting past Charles in the Ferrari, hitting a grass in the Curva Grande. Charles staying behind at the second chicane. Steph making up once more. So one more position gained by Jensen. Jensen, he's off. Jensen is off. Exit second chicane. Ferrari drivers not having the best weekend so far. And as I say that, Ferrens getting past Charles as well. So Ferrens already up to P8. Let's go on board with the Williams driver, because he might make a move once again. And let's look closely at the gap for P2 as well, because the gap is 4/10 of a second. So once that decreases, we'll immediately go to that battle. I don't think Yagi-san will be able to make a move, so let's get back to Ferrens and Steph. Ferrens getting past Steph. Ferrens up to P7, making up 3 positions after his spin in the first lap already. Yagi-san in the AlphaTauri is not pushing his ERS, 70% still left. Let's put up some telemetry and lap data. Steph still close behind Ferrens. Let's look at the gap as Charles made a mistake. Davy getting past in the McLaren. Into P9. And the gap from P2 to P6 all under 1 second, so that means this entire train has the DRS. Sven overtakes Jarny. And I think Yagi-san is close enough to make a move on Black Box this lap. He's deploying the ERS. He has 90% ERS. He has the DRS. Black Box knows it. Goes to the right hand side. And the AlphaTauri driver easily gets past. And also getting past is Jerry van Bussel on Juxel. But Juxel doesn't give up yet. But Jerry going around the outside of turn 1, which gives you the inside for turn 2. Getting past the Aston Martin driver. As Hones overtakes Jordi and Sven, it looked like. Sven getting a better exit. Still into P6 and P5. I don't think Fruitful was happy with the move that Jigsaw made. And it looked like Jigsaw cut the chicane. And it's a safety car here at Monza. What happened? So I don't think, looking at the gestures made by Fruitful, I don't think he's happy with the move Fruitful has made. So I'm pretty interested to see that after the race. But that means drivers that have had incidents in this race will be able to close the gap to the front group once again. Let's go on board with the McLaren driver of Damiano. Will he go into the pit lane? I sure would if I were him. And he does go into the pit lane. The AlphaTauri goes into the pit lane as well, as does Black Box, Jerry van Bussel, Juxel, and Fruitful. So the entire top 6, Ferrens as well, Steph as well. So none of the top 8 staying out, as Ferrens I think, got a 5-second time penalty. Jagizan getting out. And Black Box still in front of Jagizan. So Jordi, with the medium tires, is leading the Grand Prix, but everyone behind has fresh tires. And let's look at the tires. Hard tires for Damiano, medium tires for Black Box, Jagizan and Juxel. Jerry van Bussel has hard tires. Fruitful, I think, has been held up in the pit lane because he is now P6, and Juxel was in front of him, and now it's the Alfa Romeo driver of Jerry van Bussel in front of him. So Ferenc on the medium tires as well. Hard tires for Steph, Charles and Davy on medium tires, and a pretty interesting strategy from Meneer van den Bergen on the soft tires. Jensen hasn't pitted under the safety car, so along with Jardy, Jensen is are the only two drivers who haven't pitted under the safety car. Sven, Hoons, and Julian also have pitted, and Julian just now coming out of the pit lane on fresh medium tires. Safety car not coming in yet, so I think he has the time to get close to the front group. So Jordi leading the way behind the safety car. So what is happening behind? Fruitful. Not losing positions, but just cars heading into the pit lane. So why is that? So let's look on board with Ferenc. Ferenc wants to get his 5-second penalty removed in the pit lane, so I think that is why he heads into the pit lane. You see the 5 seconds are being removed. Going on to a new set of medium wall tires. So that means he doesn't have 5 seconds anymore, but he is in P15, coming from pole position. And as we've seen a lot of times, pole position does not guarantee a good race result at all. Sven, I think, got P8 in Bahrain after starting from pole. Fruitful, after starting from pole in Baku, went on to fail to finish in that race, and now Ferenc is in P15, but still a lot of laps left. Anything is still possible here for Ferenc. And I think if Julian will find the back of the pack here, safety car might be in this lap. I think the gap is just too much. But oh, Jardy was leading the field, has spun under their safety car, and that means Damiano in the McLaren is once again leading the Grand Prix. Julian still behind Jardy. Jardy making a stupid mistake, meaning he's now in 15th place. His Holmes gets a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Damiano getting on the power now, and it looked like Black Box was not expecting it at the moment Damiano went on the power. It's Juxel overtaking the AlphaTauri driver of Jagizan, not being able to complete the move. Oh, Jagizan going into the grass, which gives Juxel the encouragement to go for a move, going to the second chicane, not being able to make the move at the second chicane. But there are moves being made by Ferenc on the Alpine driver of Hoons, but not being able to complete the move. Oh, as the Alpine driver of Meneer van den Bergen completes the move, making Hoons lose 3 positions in one corner. Ferenc on the back of Meneer van den Bergen, pushing his ERS. Meneer van den Bergen not pushing ERS. He knows he lost the position. Going into Ascari. She's going off the power to let Ference by. Damiano still leading the way with Black Box behind. He's pushing the ERS. No DRS yet, but he is on the hard compound of tire. And the 3 drivers behind are on the medium compound tire, which I'm interested in, as Steph makes up 2 positions here at the main straight, goes into the Ferrari of Charles. Oh, make a little bit more contact. Oh, and there's Steph going off after even more contact. Does that result in damage for Charles? I don't know, but he lost the position to Sven anyway. On behalf of Steph, doing so well before the safety car went into the pit lane, is now back into P15, right where he started. Ference behind Jensen is looking to make another move here. Ference, for me already driver of the race, driver of the day. Also moves by this man in the Williams after losing out in the first lap. Can he make the move on Charles as well? No DRS yet, so the driver behind here at the DRS detection point does not get the DRS. He does get the move done on Charles before the Parabolica. Ference pushing a little bit ERS, but let's go on board with Charles because he is pushing his ERS too. Charles moving to the left hand side, Ference defending, Ference keeping the position in front of the Ferrari. So Ference making 2 moves on the back straight and defending it perfectly from Charles. Let's look at the... Charles losing another position to the Alpine of Meneer van den Bergen. As Yagizan made a mistake! Yagizan made a mistake in the AlphaTauri, which moves Davy up the field into P6. Davy meanwhile outscoring Yagizan, so most certainly retaining his championship lead. As there are moves being made, Fruitful here can get past the Alfa Romeo driver. Alfa Romeo driver on the hard compound of tire. Fruitful getting past the Alfa Romeo driver into P4. But there's a close battle going on for the lead as well. So let's look at this battle. Black Box will overtake Damiano if nothing goes wrong for him. So yeah, he will overtake. But the thing that I'm interested in, as I said before this race, will the medium compound of tire be able to complete the race without getting a puncture? Or will, as Janssen gets a 30-second time penalty, will the medium compound of tire get a puncture at the end of the race, which will massively benefit Damiano and Jerry van Bussel? It's all about tire management here, as Sven losing positions once again. Ference into P8 as he slots behind Jarizan and Davy in P8. So Damiano, I think the only thing he has to do is stay within the DRS range of Black Box. Let Black Box do all the work for him, pushing his ERS. Just Damiano, as Julian gets past Charles. I think the most important job for Damiano here is just use not enough, just stay, because Damiano goes into the lead, to stay at a certain level of ERS, that he has enough until the end of the race to defend when the medium tires go off the cliff. Black Box Once again trying to make the move on the McLaren. Being able to complete the move on the McLaren. As Davy and Jagison are in a battle. Davy and Jagison in a battle, and Jagison losing out massively. Jagison losing control of his car. Davy into P6 once again, but Jagison into P14. You see the grip is all gone for the AlphaTauri driver. And I don't know who was at fault there. We'll have to see after the race. Julian meanwhile getting up into P9. Past the Alpine of Meneer van den Bergen. And this is once again a race that is just damage control to me. As the top 4 are all so close here. Juxol in P3. Really close to Black Box in P2. Will Black Box be able to make the move on the McLaren driver? Yes, he will. Black Box once again into the lead of the race. But Juxol behind is interested in taking one of those positions. And Fruitful not even close behind them. Oh, Juxol almost losing his car. Fruitful up into the podium positions. As Damiano in the McLaren is not pushing his ERS, but is getting real close to Black Box. Black Box holding the lead after taking it back once again from Damiano. So Fruitful now in the podium positions. Juxol getting relegated down one position by the Red Bull driver. You see just how much they are closing on the back straight, but it just isn't enough to overtake without risking an accident. You can put it side by side through Ascari, but are you risking an incident? And do you want to risk the incident when you are in P1, P2, P3 or P4? I don't think so. So Fruitful not even 2 tenths behind Damiano. He is looking to get one of these positions, and Damiano moves to the left in the McLaren, once again taking the lead with his hard tires. Black Box on the right can't make a move, but defense from Fruitful. Charles gets a 10-second time penalty in the Ferrari. What has happened there for corner cutting? So Charles, what has he done? I think he cut the first chicane. As the positions remain the same after the first chicane for the top 4. Julian close behind Jerry van Bussel. Jerry losing more than a few positions on his hard tires. But he has made up a lot of positions after the safety car restart. Ferrans real close behind the McLaren, and you see all these drivers getting so close to each other. Davy going a bit wide. Will Ferrans make a move? He won't. So the top 9, Meneer van den Bergen has made a mistake going out of Ascari. Meneer van den Bergen has made a mistake going out of Ascari. I don't think it will be a safety car. No, yellow flags are gone. But the top 9 are all within a 1 second window of each other. Davy has the best view of it all, as Black Box once again takes the lead from Damiano. Fruitful in the Red Bull can't do anything about it and can't take any positions. Juxol behind, still in P4. But these 4 were the 4 drivers that were in a group of their own just a few laps ago, but battling each other all the time has made it that the positions behind are so much closer, as Hoons has spun at the second chicane. Yellow flags. Will it be a safety car though? I don't think it will be a safety car. Hoons has left the session, but I think his AI is driving. No, his AI is not driving. Oh, Damiano, will he make a move on Black Box? He won't. But I think this will result in another position change at the front. Let's look at the onboard of the Red Bull. Damiano closing the gap to Black Box and getting past Black Box, but now Fruitful is beside Black Box as well. Black Box braking a little bit later. Fruitful looking for the cutback, can't make the cutback. But now he's pushing ERS side by side with the McLaren driver. He's trying to go around the outside of both cars. He gets past Damiano. Fruitful into P2. Gets into P2. So Black Box in the lead. Fruitful into P2. Damiano in P3. So there was a position change, with Fruitful one position up into P2. So after having a terrible start, will he make the move for the lead? He will make the move for the lead. Fruitful into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. But oh no! He almost loses control of his Red Bull. Keeps it on the tarmac, but losing 4 positions from the lead after just getting into the lead. Black Box now once again into P1. Oh, that was so close to the barrier. Fruitful did an amazing job to keep it out of the barrier. But let's go to the front of the field. Juxel is on the inside. Can he make the move on the McLaren? He can't, but he is into P2 momentarily. Black Box on the inside. Juxel gets the better exit out of the first chicane. Gets into P2. Black Box is in on the outside. And just Juxel being behind Damiano and on the right hand side of Black Box had nowhere to go. So Damiano into the lead, Black Box into P2, Juxel into P3, Ferrens meanwhile into P4 in the Williams. Fruitful still in P5, Davy in P6. Julian close to Sven, Julian getting past Sven here on the back straight towards Ascari. And these drivers are all so close. Ferrens losing the rear of the car, heading out of Ascari, and Fruitful gaining back 1 position that he lost just 1 lap ago. But can Black Box once again make a move for the lead? How much times have we seen it today? Black Box once again into the lead. Behind all cars just piling up, getting so close to one another. And now it's the top 10, all within a second of one another. Can Damiano in the McLaren make a move on Black Box? No, he can't. Meanwhile, Charles in the Ferrari 120.1, fastest lap of the race. Still 8 laps left though. Julian very close behind McLaren of Davy. Ferrens can't make a move yet on Fruitful. Are we coming to a point in the race where the hard tires would benefit over the medium tires? They are once again very close to one another. Black Box on 65% of ERS is pushing his ERS to defend from the McLaren driver. The McLaren driver though tucks in the slipstream and gets past Black Box in the Mercedes. Keeps the lead once again. Damiano going into the chicane. Getting past on the straight, keeping the lead in the chicane. Black Box into P2. Julian very close behind McLaren, just getting to the left to avoid any incident. Oh, Davy getting a bad exit. Julian on the inside. They give each other enough room here at the first Lesmo. An amazing overtake by Julian at the Lesmo. Julian does get a worse exit than Davy. So Davy moving to the right hand side of the road. Julian has the inside line for Ascari though, so I think Julian will have the position, and he does. Julian in P6. Amazing overtake. Friends, once again very close on Fruitful. Is he making a move? Is he making a move? He is making a move in the Parabolica. I don't think Fruitful was expecting that move to be made. But you see, Ference not having the ERS to defend. Oh, Ference moving on the straight to keep the position. I don't think that was fair from the Williams driver. So I think that needs to be looked at. Fruitful doing very well to avoid an incident there. Julian now behind Fruitful. Fruitful is pushing his ERS. Fruitful is still pushing his ERS, is not trying to get past Ference. So that was an interesting overtake from the Williams driver. Into P4, as Jerry van Bussel gets overtaken by Steph, who has rejoined the race from making the mistake in getting into P15 once again, a position where he started as well. Julian on the rear of Fruitful. Meanwhile, Ference in front, also on the rear of Juxel for the final podium position. Fruitful keeping the place, as does Juxel. Julian having a lot of ERS. How much ERS does Fruitful have? 38%, but Ference, see it once again, does not have a lot of DRS. As his light is blinking, as there is yellow flags at the second chicane. It's a Red Bull, and it's a Red Bull of Jardy. No safety car as of now. As a lot of drivers are really close to one another, but it's just one big DRS train. Some moves here and there, as Jensen gets a 3-second time penalty. Some moves here and there. Not the amount of moves you'd expect for drivers being this close to one another. They're still on 14% ERS. Juxel on 40%. Blackbox at almost 100% ERS, but Damiano on 50% ERS. 50% if you can keep that amount of ERS during the final laps of the race. I think you'll have enough to defend from the Mercedes driver, but when does the time come that these tires will give up? Will there be a time where the medium tires will give up? Ference has to defend from Fruitful. Ference still able to hold the position. Steph gets a 3-second time penalty. Fruitful is pushing. Ference does not have DRS. Fruitful is still pushing, still pushing, still pushing. Goes for the outside of the second chicane. He is on the outside. Ference braking a little bit later. There is contact, but Ference does not have the best exit. Fruitful can't make a move yet, and I imagine him being very frustrated by Ference defending on the main straight. This one moving over and not being able to get past. He wants to get past as fast as possible. Julian, though, wants to get past Fruitful on his own turn. Is there a sector 2 yellow? It's a Ferrari. I think that's the Ferrari of Charles. And this is a virtual safety car. So the spin of Charles at the second chicane is cost a virtual safety car. So when will we go on the power once again? I think this will be an interesting gap to look at. Julian, Fruitful and Ference, because they are very close to each other. And will we see any drive-through penalties? Let's look at the penalty board. for when the virtual safety car ends. Will we see any penalties when the virtual safety car ends? And when does it end? Virtual safety car still here, as TFL Charles has retired in the pit lane. And the virtual safety car is now gone. It doesn't look like anyone has taken a penalty for speeding after the safety car went away. But Black Box has a bad exit out of Ascari. Juxel has a better exit and gets past Black Box on track after the virtual safety car has ended. So Juxel from P3 to P2 after losing out early in his race. Ferrens on the rear of Black Box as well. Can Ferrens make a move? Ferrens braking late, making the move on Black Box. He has the inside for turn 2. They give each other enough room at the exit. Ferrens can't keep the place and doesn't have the ERS to attack Black Box. Ferrens wants to try it though, but it doesn't work quite yet. It's Julian. Julian goes for the inside on Fruitful. Fruitful leaving enough space. That was very close, but Fruitful keeping the position in the Red Bull. Julian is pushing his ERS as well as Fruitful. Fruitful keeping the position. Juxel meanwhile almost a second away from Damiano, which means with Fruitful getting 3-second time penalty is not what he wants to see, because that might lose you a lot of positions at the end of the race. Juxel almost 1 second behind Damiano, which means he won't get DRS. Julian is pushing his ERS as much as possible. Fruitful defending from Julian. Fruitful retaining the position as Jardy goes on 1:19.8, fastest lap of the race. And the virtual safety car not helping as much as it should have for Ferrens with his ERS situation. Black Box still behind Juxel. And now you see it on the left hand side. Juxel 1.0 seconds away from the McLaren to Damiano. So I think if Damiano keeps that gap up, he might be able to walk away with the victory today. Black Box going a bit deep in Ascari, which gives him a bad exit. Ferrens behind is pushing his ERS. What is Black Box doing? He's pushing as well. Will Ferrens go for it? He will go for it. He will go for it on Black Box. There is contact. Let's look at the point of view from the Red Bull, because the Red Bull is the one that might be able to make up 2 positions here. I don't think there's enough room for that, but both drivers in front not having as much ERS as you should have. There is contact. Fruitful just hitting the rear of the Mercedes. I don't hope there is damage for the Red Bull driver, but Ferrens losing the position. Fruitful back into P4. Once again, contact between Ferrens and Fruitful. Fruitful moving over to the right hand side, and there is once again contact as Ferrens pushes Fruitful. Oh, Fruitful is out. There was a lot of contact in this race between these 2 drivers, and I think we'll see something being said about that in the Discord later on. Not the cleanest of battles between these 2 drivers. as Ferrens has none ERS left, 0% on the left hand side, so I don't think it will be easy for him to make a move on black box. Oh! It was the final lap already! Ha! I didn't notice it. Damiano getting the win with Yüksel behind in P2, Black Box P3, Johnson take the fastest lap of the race, Ferrens P4, Julian P5, Davy P6, Steph P7, Sven P8, Jerry van Bussel P9, and Yagizan, after a quite miserable race from him, P10, Fruitful P11 after his retirement. And Meneer van den Berg in P12, P13 is Jansen. For retirement, Jordi, Charles, Hones and Lewis Hamilton 8. But I think the stewards will have something to say about the incident between Ferrens and Fruitful. Damiano on the hard tires is complete strategy. An awesome strategy for him. And winning the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. Yüksel getting his first podium of the season. And Black Box gaining another podium to add to his collection. Taking well-deserved points after a miserable weekend in Baku. Damiano wins here at Monza. So P1, Damiano in the McLaren, coming from second on the grid. Yüksel from P9. P2, Black Box, P3, Ferrens, P4, P5 for Julian, P6 for Davy, P7 for Steph, P8 for Sven, P9, Jerry van Bussel, and P10, Jagizan in the Alpha Tauri. So let's invite Damiano, Yüksel, and Black Box to the party. So Damiano, Yüksel, and Black Box and players. Yüksel, Damiano. So let's add the drivers to the party. So the soft hard strategy, probably the best strategy. And that is what made the race work for Damiano. Let's look what he thinks about it when he joins the interview. Nobody has joined the interview yet. So Black Box, the first of the drivers to join the party. So P3, was it what you expected?
No, not really, to be honest. I thought I was going to win the race, but the late virtual safety car ruined it for me. You know, Damien is a very good driver, and you know, credit to him. But I think that P3 was a bit undeserved. I think I should have got P1.
So Damien not in the party yet, but he chose the hard tire at the safety car.
Yeah.
Do you think the hard tire was the better tire to have?
Well, for him it worked out, but I was saying, the virtual safety car ruined everything. I had a plan, and I don't think my tires were too far gone. I think his tires were fine, but mine were also pretty good, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I mean, I'm back on the podium, back where I belong, and I tried to put on another show like I did in Bahrain, and well, we'll see what happens next week.
So Baku was just a one-off, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I saw the exit of Ascari. He lost a bit at the exit, so that made the move for Yüksel possible for P2.
Yeah.
And from then on onwards, I don't think it was possible to overtake with the ERS you had. Or
Yeah.
Was it?
Well,
Yeah.
basically that mistake was, I think it might have been cold tires or whatever. I was just feeling nervous, but I think it was down to that virtual safety car because it just threw everyone off.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really ready. But I mean, nothing I can do now. I think there might be some investigations after the race with some
Yeah,
collisions.
there were some pretty weird incidents happening behind, so I think there will be some penalties. But I
Yeah.
think you'll be happy to be back on the podium, but you said where you
Yeah.
belong. So the other driver's not joining the interview. I don't know why, but if those won't join, I'll end the stream here. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time in 2 weeks' time for the next race. Next week won't be a race, so until next time.